Hello, and welcome back to the Living on Lemonade podcast. As always, I am your host, Lauren. It feels like I haven't recorded in ages. I guess it's only been a couple weeks. Last week, I posted scheduled and posted a pre-recorded conversation that I'd had with my friend Teresa. So, in terms of actually recording new content, it's been a couple weeks at least. But as always, it feels good to be back. Today, I'm actually recording on podcast day, so it's Monday evening. I'll get this out soon. I've been put kind of behind on things, and it is my intention, and I will kind of get what's the word? I'll get in a groove with having this as part of my routine a little bit better with trying to complete projects and spending more family time lately. It's just been a little bit harder to balance, and sometimes we just have to go with the flow and see where our priorities lie. And sometimes it's family first, right? Yeah, this weekend we watched our nieces play hockey and did some other stuff. And then today was the total solar eclipse. And where I live near Sarnia, Ontario. The totality range was just kind of south of us. So what we did is we drove to our in-laws, and they're right by Lake Erie, like the North Shore in Ontario. And it was within the what do they call it? The path of totality. So we were able to see like the full eclipse. It was incredible. We all had the glasses. We had some welding masks. I wore the welding mask. It worked really well. And what what an incredible experience it was. I remember seeing eclipses. I've seen, I don't know, maybe three. I remember seeing one or two as a kid, and then there was a one about 7 years ago in the summer, but it was just a partial. This one was just, I don't know, it's hard to even find the words. It was stunning, and I remember like just as it went to like the full totality, there was this beautiful like purple around the ring, and everything got dark. It was like nighttime all of a sudden, and the sky or on the horizon, it looked like sunset, but then it was dark above. Like it was, photos could not capture the beauty and the kind of miracle of what we were experiencing with what nature was displaying for us. And I just feel so grateful that we only had to drive like an hour and a quarter to go see it and be surrounded with family. We had Eric's in-laws, and or sorry, his dad was out, but his mom was there and his brother and family. A colleague slash friend of mine came with us as well. It was just what a cool experience. Nature is so beautiful, and there's kind of like um I'm if you don't know already, I'm kind of in like the woo world. I like that kind of stuff, and I grew up with it kind of being normal. And in terms of like the astrology and the symbolism around the solar eclipse, when the sun is involved, the symbology is that it's like shining a light, it's illuminating, or yeah, I'd say when I say illuminating, it made me think of like the moon, but it's shining, it's like showcasing something more. An eclipse is supposed to be like a bigger display of that, a bigger energy, if you want to say it that way. And with it being Aries, Aries is like this uh, ignite energy, like there's a better word I want to use for that. Initiation, I guess. And it can be a symbol for new beginnings, and kind of like a portal almost, which is I think is pretty cool. Just the idea and symbolism around it. So it's something that if you're not really fully committed or invested in that type of stuff, you can take it from a practical perspective and take a look at your own life. Like, what do you want to create that's new, and use these types of modalities in a practical way to review different areas of your life, do check-ins. It's like it could really be a mindfulness practice, which it makes it pretty cool. And see what's next for you. What are you dreaming up? What are you passionate? What kind of beginning do you want to break yourself into? And what actions, what are the breadcrumbs that you need to take to kind of start to allow that to unfold, and also surrender to the process, but follow the breadcrumbs. There has to be a balance of both, right? If we're too action oriented, we can get caught up in the ego can get us caught up in thinking that if we aren't doing the right things or doing it enough, then it can hit on our worth, and we'll have to think that we have to try harder or do more things. Meanwhile, if we're not really following the breadcrumbs, we're not totally on the path, if that makes sense. I wasn't sure exactly what I would talk about today. I did want to mention the eclipse just because it was such a cool experience. Like, I'm still in awe over how beautiful it was. I just had never experienced a total eclipse before, and wow, like it didn't last a long time, but the amount of time that it did was just absolutely breathtaking and just in awe. And it was really neat because when it goes total for those few seconds or minute or whatever, you can take your protective glasses off and look at it because it's okay and safe. And it just the whole surroundings, the whole area was just it was just so cool. It was so surreal. It was like being in a different, oh, I don't know, like different planet, different reality or something. It was just a lot of different things going on. It was just so cool. Nature is so amazing. Um, I guess I guess I can give a bit of an update. Since the last time I came on and just kind of did a chat, I feel like this somehow leads me into something that you can take a breadcrumb or something, a nugget away from. Can you tell I'm nervous? A little bit nervous. I haven't recorded in ages. If you're watching the video when I do get this uploaded, you'll see that my hair is quite different. I chopped off about 12 inches. And this really, I started getting the nudge to cut my hair. I just had this like urge, and it was very strong. And I finally made an appointment. And this kind of comes at a time as I was winding down a program that I was in with my mentor. It was all about identity, understanding what identity is, how it plays into our life, and affect us both in good and sometimes not great ways if we are holding on to an old identity or just over identifying with things. And I did a lot of, I guess, emotional shedding through things and reflecting. A lot of it is still sinking in. I'll talk more about it, as I'm able to embody the wisdom that I learned. Um, and then, oh, I just gotta decline this call. Of course, I would get a call while I'm recording. I think this will end up being like a program because I want to work with people more closely. Some of this, I love doing free content, don't get me wrong, and I always will do. I do lots, I've got the podcast, I share lots of wisdom on here. The monthly classes in the Living on Lemonade community, which end up being podcast episodes as well. And a few things in between. The power hours, I have them once a month. The next one will be this Thursday if you're listening pretty quick after this gets published. So Thursday, what are we on now? The 8th. So Thursday, the 11th of April at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's just on Zoom. You can get the Zoom link from the Living on Lemonade Facebook group. And essentially the soul care hour is it's an opportunity to come into a Zoom session with myself and whoever else pops in. You can get a bit of mentorship, see what my mentoring style is, and just kind of chat about life, what's going on. We offer, support, hold space, give ideas if you want advice or suggestions. Otherwise, if you just kind of want others to hold space for you, there's that as well. And I'm just finishing up a paid program. I think I want to talk about it a little. Yeah. It's I've talked about this before. It's my Build Your Soul Care Tool Belt program. I feel like the name might change after because of the way that it's evolved, and it's just I don't even I at this point I don't even know what it's going to be named. I think the ladies inside there maybe will put our heads together and come up with something, but it's just been so much more than what the name might entail because every week there's 5 modules, so 5 weeks we do a new topic. I teach on it live. And then this round, as a bit of a pilot project, we jump onto a Zoom after and debrief a little bit if we want. Included in the module is a meditation at the end. And we do the identity one was like wonderfully potent and transformative. The Yeah, the meditations have just been really lovely. They always are. I have realized how much I really love leading meditations, and I was always nervous that I wouldn't know what to say, but I do the work myself. I sink into my body. I kind of connect to my intuition, and I just let the words flow. I usually I ground before I teach and I go into a bit of a meditation myself. And then that's where I see the path that we're going to take that evening. And how that is different from how I've taught before. It's been really interesting the timing of how I've been following all these breadcrumbs over the last few months and getting the nudges to purge. And I'm still working on it. My craft room looks like a disaster right now, but I've got 3 quilts on the go. I don't know if I can turn it a little bit. So I've got 3 quilts um on my ironing board. I'm gonna quilt after this gets posted. And among other things, I'm like going through things, I'm finishing projects, so I can get them out of the house. But I mean, I started in the fall and it's just been a pull. And it's not like I do stuff every day or every week necessarily. There were a couple lulls that I just wasn't feeling like purging or doing a whole lot of stuff. But what I did is I wrote a list. And when I was in the mood, it's like, okay, what do I want to work on today? So then I can kind of pick and choose between the smaller and larger things. If I had a bigger chunk of time and had the, I guess, capacity and ambition to do it, I would tackle something larger, like maybe a closet. And all of these, following the breadcrumbs has led me to where I am today. And I feel like it's truly opened up a space not only physically in the home but kind of emotionally and mentally inside of me as well to create room for this creativity to flow. And then I got the idea for the Build Your Soul Care Tool Belt program, and normally I have it laid out ahead of time. I know all the details. I know like what I'm teaching in each module. I can write out the stuff. This time it's like it's a totally different energy. I write notes either the day of or like an hour before I teach, and then I go into a bit of a meditation. I see what we're going to do for the meditation, and then I set the intention that whatever comes out my mouth is what we need to talk about, and we'll be able to land in the way that will be received by others who are listening now and in the future. If this turns into an evergreen self-paced course, I think I would need to tweak it a little bit for it to be self-paced because some of it is kind of intense. So um, I think it's just one of those things where you kind of need to do it live and be able to hold space during that time. I don't think all of it would be suited for self-paced, but I could make part of it, or I don't know. I'm gonna know at the end exactly how to tweak it for the next time I run it. And what's been really amazing is the depth that we've gone into that I could not have anticipated if I had tried to just have it all planned out. I would have left zero room for the magic that has been created. And what's been really wild is it was a small group. There was myself and 2 others, and I could have easily just made that wrong and thought that I wasn't good enough because only 2 people signed up, but the reality is it was perfect. And I set the intention very early that for one, I was going to launch this and see it through. I didn't care if one person signed up or the capacity of 13. Now I see that what's really interesting is now I see that 13 would have never worked. I would never have been able to run this program with 13 people. And so if you do this type of stuff or you follow this creative path, certainly create like a capacity of what you can handle, but don't put the expectation that you need to meet it and that if you don't, that it makes you wrong in some way because things always work out the way they're supposed to. And I knew at the time, because for a little while, I only had one person, right? And it was like, I'm running it anyway, just as if, same as if I'm running it with 13. And then the second person popped in and it was like, no, we're doing this. It's going to be amazing. And what really worked well is with the dynamic of the three of us. I'm like close with them as well. So it also gave me an opportunity as a facilitator, as a mentor, as a teacher to surrender in a way that I would not have been able to if I'd had a big group. And it's allowed me to explore things and trust. I think trust is the biggest word I can use for this. I've surrendered to just going with the flow and letting things unfold before me without having to see too far ahead on the path and trusting that everything will work out to like the highest like highest good. And that's exactly how it's been. I've felt supported to follow these nudges and do things in a different way that doesn't feel familiar to me and can feel a little scary. So I know that if it had been a big group, I would have been in my head about it a lot. And that would have impacted the the quality of the content and what I'm able to deliver. This experience has also given me a lot of confidence because of the way that it has turned out and just been beautiful beyond what my human brain could have imagined or thought up for what this program would be. I get little hits of inspiration. I might jot down a note here or there, but I have the general layout. And then, like I said right before, I just kind of write my notes and I just go. And I'm not making like PowerPoint things on Canva to keep it going, like, guided and stuff. It's just my teaching formula, there's a different word I want to use, but it has escaped me, has completely changed. And I feel like I'm just in a period of surrender. I'm like, okay, well, I think this could be magical if I co-create with the universe and I don't have to know all of it. So it's been a lot of fun. We've added a few things that I didn't anticipate and they've been well received. It's given me a lot of confidence. And what I've also realized is I don't need all of these extra tools of like having things planned ahead because then it just doesn't feel like the flow isn't there when I'm like over planned, kind of, if that makes sense. When I'm able to just have like a loose outline, the notes really are to make sure that I cover the things that I want to talk about, but I don't have to teach them in the order of the way I wrote them down. I just kind of scan my notes every once in a while, make sure I've talked about things. I jump around a little bit on the note sheet, but in flow of like what I'm teaching. And I was saying to one of the girls, like, I'm gonna take my own course after this because so much of it kind of came flowing out of me that it was like, wow, I found it like it's almost hard to explain. It was just it's been an incredible process and it's allowed me to open up in a new way And I have to emphasize the beauty of surrendering. And if you're trying something new, if you feel with this like eclipse symbolism energy that you want to try something new and you notice, it's like if you're coming into a new era of yourself, if you notice that the old way of being and doing things feels like force. Like I did try to like make the old way happen and I very quickly was like, no, this doesn't feel like there's something different here. And I listened and I felt called to do it a different way. So if you are in a season now with this new opportunity of bringing something new to the universe or whatever that looks like, if you have a new commitment to yourself in whatever way, whatever aspect of your life, and you notice that if it's similar to how you've done things and it just feels like that's just old energy, it's just an old way of being, it's not. It feels like force, and you can feel the nudges of how to do it differently, even if it feels uncomfortable, if it feels like you're not sure if it's going to work and it makes you feel vulnerable, just like lean into it, support your nervous system through it. This has been a big thing for me because change can be very scary for our brain, but I knew it was the right path. I could feel it, but that didn't make it less scary. So the biggest thing for me over the last well, Wednesdays are our module 5, so basically 5 weeks because we started pre-work just before the module started, is to make sure that my nervous system feels supported so I don't self-sabotage, I don't quit or, get scared that I just kind of try and go on cruise control or something or just force it in a way that it's not meant to be. That has helped me to not only maintain but create more capacity so that I can try the things that feel a little scary, but reframe it in a way that also makes it feel exciting and have curiosity around doing things in a new way. This is a great time. This new like solar eclipse excitement, there's like a newness and yeah, I think I'm going to end it here. I feel like it kind of full circled around. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but as I was talking a couple of minutes ago, I just had this sense of, yeah, there you go. There's the punchline coming. Um Yeah, I think I'll leave it there, and I've got ideas. I gotta get these quilts done. I feel like getting the quilts done because it's been such a big priority for me for the winter's quilting season for me. We're in spring now, so I gotta get these done. I have 5 to do. I'm hoping by the end of tomorrow I'll have 3 of them done. And then that, like I was talking about earlier, following the breadcrumbs and the nudges to get things done so it creates room, I'll have then more capacity, more time, more ambition and curiosity to bring to life some of the things and continue to build this Living on Lemonade brand and what I want it to be. It was never meant to be this like trying to be successful overnight. It is soul led. And when your soul's leading something, there's no rush, there's no timeline, there's no like, that's when you feel rushed to do something and be good at something, that's ego. And I would encourage you to get curious about why you feel the need to rush to some sort of finish line with anything. When it's soul led and it's very nourishing and you feel like you're meant to do it, there's no rush at all. So I've been slowly creating more posts for the group a little bit more regularly and getting ideas and knowing that just because I have a really good idea and I'm excited about it, it oftentimes still needs to marinate for a little while until I know exactly how it's going to play out. Because a lot of times I just like I throw it out into the universe and there's no context and then it flops, right? I need to make sure that it's my reminder, slow down, let it see what it's let it have some time so I can see what it's actually becoming, and then when I will know when to put it out. And that's where I'm at. So I hope all is well with you and this exciting season. I hope there's new things in store for you. And just remember, it's okay to do the scary thing. Just support your nervous system through it, and you'll be able to create magic the way that you're meant to if that's what you'd like to do. All right, friends, we will talk soon and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.